Hey, good afternoon. My name is Samantha Migliore, and today I would like to talk to you about why you shouldn't vote third party. Many Americans have said, "I know my candidate won't win," referring to third party candidates, "but I just can't bring myself to vote for either of the two major candidates." Something that I've heard from a lot of people, and I'm sure that you've noticed the turmoil that took place during the presidential election of 2016. I noticed how many Democrats who didn't like Clinton and Republicans who didn't like Trump voted third party instead. But was that the right choice? I don't believe that third party voting in most situations is a responsible use of your vote. Voting is a serious topic, and I believe that no one should vote third party if the motive is either, well, I don't like the main candidate, or, well, my conscience won't allow me to vote for the main candidates. Why do I feel so negatively about third-party voting, and should you too? Our responsibility to vote with purpose. Our responsibility to vote, using your freedom to vote, recognizes the place that we've come to as a nation. That all men and women of all races have the same right to a voice in politics. To abstain from voting would be an act of disrespect to those people who fought for our rights and for those who never had that right. Vote with purpose. Voting isn't to be taken lightly. Write-in votes were submitted for Donald Duck, Beyonce, and hundreds more in the 2016 presidential election. The purpose of voting isn't to make a political point by not voting seriously. One of the major party candidates is going to win. If you're not going to choose to support and champion one of them, then don't complain when someone you don't like wins, because you could see that coming. If you're voting third party when you know that they won't win, your vote is still very impactful, but in a very negative way. When you choose to vote third party, technically, it's as if you were siding with one of the major candidates. You're not technically voting, say, for Trump or for Clinton, but by not being for someone, you're giving their opponent a better chance at winning. Which brings us to our next point. Voting third party has negative impacts. No one wins third party. While there have been few congressional positions taken by third party candidates, as for president, no one save for George Washington, the man himself, has ever won as a non-major party candidate. The closest anyone after George Washington came was Theodore Roosevelt, who was running for re-election, was already known and loved by the American people. He managed 27% of votes, but unfortunately, that is a massive exception to the normal rule, as most third-party candidates can barely grasp 1 or 2%. So, knowing that a synonym for third party is losing candidate, can we really call that a responsible vote? Voting third party siphons votes. Voting third party damages the odds of the popular party candidate that you may more closely align with from winning. In an article from Quartz, it said, billionaire Michael Bloomberg considered an independent bid, but the former New York City mayor feared he would siphon off too many votes from Clinton. The truth is, a third-party candidate isn't a winner, but a siphon. One of those two major party candidates are going to win. They are going to be the next president. While the situation you may be in means a choice between two poor candidates, one of them in some aspect of character or policy will align more closely with you. So don't siphon votes from that one candidate. It will only get you a worse option and the worse of the two candidates. Third party does influence results. In speaking of the state of Michigan in the 2016 presidential election, an article by NBC said, Johnson and Steen have collectively taken a little more than 222,400 votes. Big number. Or about 5% of the votes there. While Trump, in contrast, held just over a 15,600 vote lead over Clinton. Those Democrats who opted to vote for a third-party candidate, those Republicans who opted to vote for a third-party candidate instead of voting for Clinton, ultimately cost the Democratic Party the state of Michigan. They thought that they were voting for their own interests, but in reality, they were just voting against themselves. Sometimes people acknowledge fully that third-party voting is, in essence, voting against yourself. But they say that it has to do with their conscience and they just can't bring themselves to do something against their own conscience. But is that a good enough reason? Third-party voting isn't about soothing your conscience. Voting isn't there to make you feel good. It's there to allow you a say in your governmental leadership. Don't base your vote off of any one factor: speaking skills, policy, history, or conscience. Vote on the package deal and vote to win. Every election is a matter of voting for the lesser of two evils, but it would be a full-out acceptance of the status quo to push aside your American responsibility of voting responsibly by not voting purposefully. Don't say, well, I might as well vote third party because neither candidate is great. Just vote. Vote the lesser of two evils. Someone is going to win, one of those two, and you have a say in who. In conclusion, we must all make a choice. Choosing not to vote, voting third party, or voting a major candidate. I would encourage you to take your right, privilege, and responsibility to vote and take it seriously. Get out there and vote. Thank you.